If you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Hi guys, I'm back and it is Sunday, May 26th, and it is 8:37 p.m. I'm getting a little bit of an earlier start tonight, and I know plenty of you will be pleased about that. Now, I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. This is Memorial Day weekend for those of you that are in the States, and I hope that you are enjoying it. I'm sure you are spending time with family, taking some time off, and that is wonderful. But take time to remember what Memorial Day weekend is all about and those that have sacrificed for us. And anyway, we do not have any Q posts tonight, but we do have plenty of Q related news as always. So let's get into it. And now let's look at this first. This is from a website I've never seen before, LifeSite, and it says construction workers arrested, fired for laughing at men dressed as women. May 24th, 2019, while the transgender ideology may have swept the upper echelons of society within a mere half-decade, most ordinary men and women are not buying into its premises. As I noted in this space last year, the transgender ideology is being imposed from the top down, and the backlash to elitist demands that we believe in the fantasy of so-called pregnant men and female penises is growing, especially in the ranks of feminists and other unlikely allies. I've often said that one easy way to prove that most people have not yet managed to swallow the absurdities of transgenderism is a simple litmus test. Go onto any construction site and begin asking the workers if they think go onto any construction site and begin asking the workers there if they think that men can get pregnant. It is wildly unlikely you would find a single one. In February, Edinburgh News reported a story that seemed to confirm my hunch. Bizarrely, a constructor worker named Graham Spears was actually arrested and given an enormous fine for allegedly pointing and laughing at a biological male attempting to present as a woman. Because Spears was rude to a transgender person, he was chewed out both in court and by law enforcement and informed that his children should be ashamed of him. Not only was Spears required to believe that the biological male that walked past him and his buddies was a female, he was also required not to snicker. Society is moving fast, and Neanderthals like Spears need to get in line, or else. A similar story cropped up again this week, this time in Indianapolis. A biological male, doodly described by the media as a transgender woman, alleged that she was harassed by a constructor worker. I don't know why I keep wanting to say construction woman. Maybe I've got Nancy Pelosi disease. I hope not. I don't drink. But anyway, Violet Salas, 36, said the worker mocked her by holding a plastic drop cloth around his waist and parading in front of her with a makeshift skirt. The incident made her feel insulted and threatened on her own street. Salas told News 8 in an exclusive interview, "I just want to feel safe," she said. "One day someone's teasing you. What's it going to take for them to be attacking you next?" Well, there's a huge difference between snickering and attacking. Big deal, a big difference. And I'd also like to say, those of us who may have carried a few extra pounds in either grade school or high school know what being made fun of is, because if you are not very svelte, you are picked on. And I know that was the case for me. It was the case for many of my friends, and who have now gone on to be thin, but may have carried a few extra pounds, in high school and so forth. And they were picked on mercilessly. Yet nothing is said about that, ever. Nothing. It seems, quite appropriate to make fun of fat people. And I see that every day. And, I myself fell into that because I was making fun of Jerry Nadler, and I felt bad because then it's like the next day or the day after he had that episode where he was he just turned completely gray, and he did not look well. He looked like he was having some sort of an episode or an attack or whatever. And I did feel bad. Now, I don't appreciate his politics. I don't have any respect for the man, but I don't wish him harm. So I don't know. I mean, you have these men that are kind of halfway in between. I know I've seen a picture of this Violet Salas, and she looks very much like a man wearing a dress. And, that does invite, these kind of remarks, especially when you walk by construction workers. Now, construction workers always whistle at women when you walk by. I know that to be a fact. I've experienced it, and certainly all of my friends have as well. It's just a thing. And do we run to the police? Oh, we don't feel safe. Somebody whistled at me. Come on, this is getting ridiculous. Excuse me, just one moment. I had a couple cashews before I started recording, and I think they're stuck in my throat. They feel like it. This story, which is apparently a big exclusive these days, is a joke. The difference between teasing, as rude as it might be, and attacking is obvious, especially in legal terms. This is simply an attempt by both the complainant and the media to pretend that a construction worker cracking up at the sight of a very male-looking dude in a skirt, seriously, just watch the interview, this guy is fooling nobody, is somehow a hate crime, verging on violence. In reality, it is just a trans activist making use of the elitist in the media to crack down on some average guy who laughed when he noticed that the emperor is wearing no clothes. Everyone has to play along, you see, or the ruse fails. And I wanted to tell you guys, I took my mom to get a pedicure the other day, and this is a very rural area. It has been a dairy area for as far back as, well, forever. I mean, as long as it's been, like there's been civilization here. I mean, there's certainly the Indians did not raise cattle, but all of the settlers did in this area because the soil was not great for grazing wheat. So they raised dairy cows, and it's still a huge dairy producing area in Canada, and it's very rural. Like, there are some larger metropolitan areas, but they're tiny, comparatively. And the town that I am near is very tiny, and we went to this place to get her nails done, and there was a transgender man there. Now, no, I didn't laugh at him or anything, but he was just beginning to transition, and he was getting his brows and so forth done. And he just looked very out of place, just because he was a big burly man covered in tattoos, but he was starting to get breasts, and but he still had the 5 o'clock shadow, and he looked very, very male, and was still dressing like a male, although he had some of the characteristics of a female. Well, really, now I wouldn't want to make fun of them because, I just don't. But I don't know. You invite stares, you invite incredulous looks, because it doesn't seem normal. And they can tell us that it's normal all they want, but it's not. And where all this is coming from, I don't know. Well, I do know. From the pit of hell. They're making everybody unhappy with who they are and the gender that they are. And I don't know. Anyway, of course, the corporations have to play along now, too, for fear of being accused of encouraging a climate of transphobia or some such nonsense. A spokesperson for Reith Riley Construction, the unidentified worker's employer, said they were aware of the allegations and investigating Salas' complaint. We have talked to the worker in question. Area manager Dave Dankert told News 8, "We take this matter very seriously." What allegation? That a construction worker wasn't sufficiently sufficiently sensitive to the rules of the transgender movement, which now require him to solemnly believe that a biological man dressed as a woman is a woman. Of course, the company had to play along too, or the media simply would have shifted the bullseye. Of course, the media was so intent on getting the construction worker with the wrong sense of humor punished that the punished representatives of Reith Riley Construction to say if he would be rebuked, but noted disapprovingly that they were unable to confirm if the worker would face disciplinary action at first. The plural comes from a subsequent discovery that 3 other workers at the construction site witnessed the incident and laughed at the colleagues' derogatory antics. Such laughter, it goes without saying, is now forbidden. Again, play along or else. Salas, however, graciously said he would simply accept an apology. A follow-up to the news story noted that the worker had been fired in a statement released by Indigo, the municipal corporation that had contracted Reith Riley. And I am going to leave that there. I just want you to be aware of what is happening. It truly is now go along or else. And let's not tell the emperor that he's wearing no clothes. Really. Let's just pretend that the man is a woman and go about our business. That's what they want from us. So let's go back and see what other trouble we can get in here. I'm sure there's plenty. And as you know, there is a new Gillette ad. Now, I say as you know, but maybe some of you, like myself, do not have TV. I refuse to pay the exorbitant amounts they want for cable for them to indoctrinate me. Why should I pay for my own indoctrination? And there's never anything worthwhile on TV anyway, so I choose to read instead and get my news from the computer. Woke. New Gillette ad features dad teaching transgender son how to shave. Yeah. Gillette's latest ad shows a dad teaching his transgender son how to shave. Whenever, wherever, however it happens, your first shave is special, Gillette said in a caption to the video posted to their official Facebook page. Growing up, I was always trying to figure out what kind of a man I wanted to become, and I'm still trying to figure out what man I want to become, Samson Brown said. I always knew I was different. I didn't know that there was a term for the type of person I was. The father is seen encouraging his transgender son to be confident while shaving. I'm at the point in my manhood where I'm actually happy. It's not just myself transitioning, it's everyone around me transitioning, Samson Brown added. So, yeah, and I'm not going to play it. In January, Gillette decided to run razor ads trashing men and toxic masculinity. In their new ad campaign, Get Woke and Go Broke, Gillette saw sales slump after its sexist lecturing Me Too razor ad, Gillette, the best a man can get. And that is their motto. But, yeah, I don't know. You men out there, was your first shave special? I remember when I first shaved my legs as a woman, as a young woman. And then right after, and I thought I was a big girl then, but then, right after that, I realized, oh my gosh, now I have to shave all the time. So yeah, I don't know. Don't know how you feel about it, but yeah. Okay. Let's go on. Now, this is Sarah B. Ware from Twitter, and she's responding to Brooks Brown. And this says, report finds UN employs 3,300 pedophiles responsible for 60,000 rapes in the last 10 years. And that according to the freethoughtproject.com. Yeah. And Sarah B. Ware responded to that and said, the UN is a globalist machine trying to undermine the free market in capitalist countries. They have pushed climate change as a redistribution of wealth to third world countries. Why not rape and pedophilia? Why not add rape and pedophilia to the list? Very, very sad. And while I'm thinking about it, it just crossed my mind, please be safe this weekend. if you see something, say something, stay aware, because there is a lot of chatter out there, a lot. And you need to be aware, and don't think that you're in the middle of nowhere, in the Midwest somewhere, that nothing's going to happen. We can't afford to think that way any longer. We really can't, because it can happen anywhere to anyone at any time. So please be aware of your surroundings, and especially if you are in any crowded places, any, malls, whatever. Well, they're probably closed tomorrow, but you know what I'm talking about. I just want to see everybody safe. Okay. Now, I think I mentioned this before, that delivery, Skynet, Ford is testing headless robots for driverless cars, home delivery. It seems like AI is, we are on a march toward a completely AI-controlled world. That's the way it seems to me. They are having robots doing more and more, and even having sex with us now. Yeah, they've got robot brothels, and these women, really, I've seen videos, and they look like, I was going to say they look like real women. No, they don't look like real women. They look like the kind of women in the magazines that are airbrushed and, the big assets and so forth. But the way they move is very realistic, and they're now opening brothels so men can engage in sex with these robots, because they may be shy socially, or they may be married and maybe their wife approves of that. I don't know why she would, but I think I would take that, I know I would take that as a giant insult if my husband would rather have sex with a robot than me. But hey, to each his own. But yeah, I think a lot of these men are men that are, very socially inept and don't feel adequate, because a lot of real life women are so emasculating towards men now, and are taught that way from a very young age, that it's no wonder men are turning to robots. Really. That's just my 2 cents on it. But let's go on, shall we? Now, this from Cat Turd, because I love me some Cat Turd. Can you imagine what President Trump could do for our economy if we doubled his salary to $2 a year? And of course, that is what he accepts as a salary, $1 per year. And the rest of it is donated to whatever government agency he feels needs it most. So yeah, I love that. What if we doubled his salary to $2 a year? Imagine what would happen then. Yeah, for somebody that's working for free, he sure does undergo a whole lot of grief. A whole lot of grief. Could you imagine doing a job for free, and then everybody, and you're doing the best job that anybody's done in probably half a century or more, and yet, you're taking all this flack for this job you're doing for free, while you're, neglecting your own business and businesses. Really, I can't imagine. I mean, to me, that speaks volumes about Trump's character. Now, and the other thing is, all the other countries seem to love Trump. They love him in Japan. Well, they love him, but not here. He's mocked by every mainstream media outlet. All right, let's go on now. New leak exposes how Hillary sabotaged Trump. Well, let's look at this, shall we? Hillary Clinton just got busted. No one will believe her denials, and the only real question left is whether she and her goons will face punishment. Look, we all know by now that the Russia investigation was a political hit. Yes, there were unseemly contacts, but they were innocent. Moreover, most of the unseemliness was caused by the media reporting out of context. The truth is inching out, and there will be more to come, but based on a new leak from Trey Gowdy, it does not look good for Hillary. That Trey just leaked that Hillary Clinton's henchmen are the ones behind the plot to take down Trump. Do you really believe she didn't know? I don't. From the Daily Caller, former Republican South Carolina Rep. Trey Gowdy claimed Tuesday the FBI cited articles and information from longtime Clinton fixer Sidney Blumenthal as corroboration for claims made in the Steele dossier, a scenario the former congressman called a problem. Yeah, because Blumenthal couldn't tell the truth. He wouldn't know the truth if it tap danced across his nose. So, in an interview with Fox News, Martha McCallum, Gowdy said that he was still in Congress. When he was still in Congress, he saw the FBI spreadsheet that laid out all the specific claims in the dossier, which former British spy Christopher Steele authored. The spreadsheet also cited information that the FBI believed corroborated Steele's salacious report, he said. I've seen the spreadsheet, Martha. I've seen each factual assertion listed in that dossier, and then I've seen the FBI's justification. And when you're citing newspaper articles as corroboration for a factual assertion that you have made, you don't need an FBI agent to do a Google search, said Gowdy, who served on the House Intelligence Committee and is a Fox News contributor. When the name Sidney Blumenthal is included as part of your corroboration, and when you're the world's leading law enforcement agency, you have a problem. Gowdy did not further explain how the FBI used information from Blumenthal, but his claim could be a potential bombshell as investigators probe the FBI's use of the dossier in its investigation of possible collusion between the Trump campaign and Russian government. Congressional Republicans have accused the FBI of improperly relying on the unverified dossier to obtain surveillance warrants against former Trump campaign advisor Carter Page. They have also faulted the FBI for failing to tell surveillance court judges that Steele was investigating the Trump campaign on behalf of the Clinton campaign and DNC. Blumenthal, who is one of Clinton's closest political allies, was involved in shopping around a report that contains some of the allegations about Donald Trump that were included in Steele's document. That eight-page report was authored by Cody Shear, another longtime Clinton insider who is close friends with Blumenthal. Yeah, it's just coming out little by little, step by step. It's inching out, and we're seeing more and more and more. Now, let's go back because there's plenty more where that came from. Now, let's look at this. LGBT progressivism horrors. Parents to start physically maiming their own babies to slice off all gender organs in the name of progressivism and equality. Now, I would like to assume that all of my listeners are reasonable people. You're certainly all patriots or you wouldn't be here. Is that something that you would do to your child? Physically maim them by cutting off their genitals? Really? Well, apparently there are such parents out there, believe it or not. If you wonder where progressivism is headed, look no further than the self-mutilation movement, where LGBT followers physically maim their own bodies to become so-called nullos by cutting off their nipples and reproductive organs. The next escalation in this war on biology will, I predict, involve parents maiming their newborn infants by slicing off their penis and scrotum shortly after birth in order to rid the child of gender identity. The physical maiming of newborn infants will be embraced by the Democrats and leftists as a progressive way to achieve gender equality. Note that this is far beyond the female genital mutilation currently embraced by leftists, which involve the painful and permanent maiming of a female infant. FGM is widely practiced in the Somali community in places like Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota. Oh yeah, it's happening there. And nothing's being done about it, which produced the American-hating Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, an anti-Semitic radical Muslim for whom mutilating young girls is just considered part of the culture. Well, I feel very sorry for these women where this is part of the culture. If that had happened to me, I would never, ever, ever allow it to happen to my child, my female child. It would be over my dead body. because you are relegating that female child to a life of no sexual pleasure whatsoever. And why? Because I guess these men think that that's the only way they can keep their women. Really. The LGBT community already absurdly, I can never say that word, claims that children are both genderless and then assigned a gender by the doctor. This dangerous delusional thinking will justify parents grabbing scalpels and physically maiming their newborn children in order to achieve a correction for their genderless status by violently removing all organs and tissues that are not gender neutral. Yes, it's completely insane and criminal, but this is exactly the way the lunatic left now thinks. Yeah. Will any doctor stand up against the left-wing obedience cult that violently assaults and murders infants? My question is, will any institution in society stand up against the increasingly deranged child-killing and child-mutilating progressivism that's now being pushed everywhere? Are there any doctors in America who will denounce parents maiming their own children in the pursuit of gender equality? Somehow, doctors are more than willing to call the police on parents who refuse to have their children subjected to toxic chemotherapy, but there's little question those same doctors will stand by and say nothing while parents commit felony assault against their own children with a scalpel and an ice pack, all in the name of progressivism. The left in America today has become a dangerous obedience cult that's obsessed with death and self-mutilation. Until they are stopped, their agenda will continue to become more twisted, insane, and psychopathetic. This is the same movement that has pushed for the legalization of infanticide across America, with laws passed in New York, Vermont, and other states that literally allow parents to murder healthy children after they are born, all in the name of women's health. The twisted, almost demonic justification for all this is that, according to the leftists, infants are not human until you decide to keep them. And it is this underlying deception that will endorse parents physically maiming their own babies, leaving them emotionally and physically scarred for life, all in the name of pursuing the delusion of gender equality. This is, of course, extreme child abuse. It is child mutilation, but because the mutilation is pursued in the name of gender equality, it will be embraced, endorsed, and even celebrated by the left, which is now characterized by mass mental illness. As I've said before in this article on the climate change psychological terrorism now being pushed by the left, the future of liberalism isn't a boot stamping on your head forever. It's actually a screaming, bloodied, scarred baby that has been violently attacked and had its penis sliced off by progressive parents, while obedient doctors watch and cheer in order to support political correctness and keep their jobs in hospitals that maim babies for profit, while billing the federal government for gender restorative procedures, which are nothing more than horrific crimes committed against human babies that somehow survived the left's post-birth abortion procedures. According to the left, if you stab a newborn just a few times in the right places, it's called progressivism. If you keep stabbing and murder the baby, it's called women's health. Yeah, you can't make this up. You can't even dream this up. In a nightmare. Liberalism is beyond any nightmare the world has ever witnessed in human history. The left cult is a death cult, and they can't wait to kill themselves and as many other people as possible as they take down humanity in the name of environmental justice. Yeah, and that is so true. And, you know, I think about that little boy, and I'm not sure exactly where in the United States this happened, but his father said that when he had the child, he always behaved like a normal little boy and wanted to do little boy things. But when his mother had him, he wore dresses and skirts, and his mother is now wanting to have his penis removed. And he's very young. I think he's under 5, if I'm not mistaken. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that is the case. And I think that's horrific, because does a child know at that age? I mean, really? I mean, I don't know. I think you can, you know, at that age, you can talk a child into almost anything. You tell them he's a girl, he's going to say, oh, okay, I'm a girl. Anyway, Let's go back and hopefully we'll have a little bit of a better news. Oh, no, I spoke too soon. This isn't good news either. I'm sorry. All right, Mark Zuckerberg says breakup of Facebook would make it harder to crack down on offensive conservative pages. Yeah, Mark, that's kind of the whole idea of breaking up Facebook. Yeah. Not too bright, that boy. Mark Zuckerberg argued this week that breaking up Facebook would make it harder for them to crack down on offensive content. Well, maybe, Mark Zuckerberg, maybe we don't want you to crack down on offensive content. Maybe, just maybe, we want to be able to decide that for ourselves. And we always have the choice of turning it off, defriending someone, not looking at it. But that's our choice. Facebook has suspended Human Events editor-in-chief Rahim Kassam over an 11-year-old post. So something this person wrote 11 years ago has now got them suspended from Facebook. 11 years ago. Facebook continues to ban, censor, and shadow ban conservatives while it allows violent leftists and terrorists to run free on the platform. Yes, it does. And Mark Zuckerberg does not want to give this power up. Well, naturally not. Fortune magazine, government officials, and some business people, including a former co-founder, are increasingly calling for Facebook to be broken up. Critics claim the company has too much power and is threatening democracy. But on Thursday, Zuckerberg unsurprisingly argued that breaking up the company solves nothing. He called any suggestion that Facebook is the dominant player in its space is a little stretch, never mind that the company dominates social media. Instead, Zuckerberg said that Facebook accounts for less than 10% of the global online ad market. On that basis, Facebook is merely a piker, or at least that's what he wants the world to believe. Zuckerberg then mentioned that breaking up Facebook would only make fighting misinformation and harmful content more difficult. Any smaller company spawned from the breakup, he suggested, would spend less on policing its service, implying that its leader would inevitably choose profits over corporate responsibility. Yeah. The success of this company has allowed us to fund these efforts at a massive level, Zuckerberg said. We're able to do things that were not possible for other folks to do. Yeah, like dictating to all of us what is truth and what is not. Very Orwellian. And it's happening. It's happening. You know, when I read that book in high school, I thought, oh, that's ridiculous. I mean, it was a good book. Then I revisited it when I was doing my master's. I decided to do a really in-depth study on 1984, and I realized how alarmingly close it was to our current reality. Yeah. So there's Mark Zuckerberg in his own words saying that, they want to control what we see, what we believe, what we think. All right, let's go back. No, really, let's. Now this, New York City Mayor de Blasio tells citizens, we own your bodies and can force you to be injected with anything we want. Well, how do you feel about that, New Yorkers? I know that there's some that listen. How do you feel about that? Do you think they should be able to control and control your body and inject you with anything they want? Yeah, note to dictator New York City Mayor de Blasio, you do not own the people of New York City. You are a disgrace to New York City and should be removed immediately. I think we all second that. All right, and let's go to this now, shall we? Of course we shall. Now, I wanted you to see this. Do you know what foods you eat and drink that contain aborted fetus cells? Yeah, they're in our food. They really are. How does the FDA approve this? Retweet if this video makes you sick. Yeah, let's just look at this for a minute because
aborted fetuses. So they grab these kidney cell lines, las células sanguíneas de los riñones de bebés abortados, and in laboratory they replicate these cells and they put them in all your products. So ponen los productos. What products are we talking about? Well, we're talking about your Gatorade. Drink some aborted babies. Yes, seriously. We're talking about Lay's chips. Yeah, that's why they taste so good, don't they? Pepsi products, all right? Tropicana juices, Dasani water, Minute Maid. We have to not consume anything from these companies. And tell them that we're not going to participate in their insane rituals.
Now, that's alarming. Lay's potato chips, Dasani water? I mean, I've drank Dasani water. I've drank Diet Pepsi. Now, I'm not a big chip fan, but I'm sure in my lifetime I've had Lay's potato chips, but probably not since they've started putting this stuff in it, because I haven't had potato chips in years. Anyway, this is absolutely alarming, and I do believe they are doing this for a reason. Do I believe that there's no other way to flavor these products aside from aborted fetus cells? Come on. Really? I think the world can do without that flavoring. Seriously. They are making us into cannibals. That is what they're making us into. We are eating and drinking the cells of aborted babies. They know it, and they're doing nothing about it. So we need to find out all the products that have this in it. There is a name for the flavoring. It is, maybe someone will mention it here. All these reactions. Yes, I agree, it's demonic. And this person's saying, water? Don't think so. Lay's potato chips ingredients are only potatoes and cottonseed oil. Apparently not. So anyway, I'm going to look more into this. And I mean, I've known about this for a very long time, but it's starting to concern me because there's more and more places around here, and probably where you are, there's a lot of restaurants that don't serve Coca-Cola products. And yeah. And also, Coca-Cola has refused to support Planned Parenthood. So has Ford Motor Company. So there you go. That's two companies that we should be supporting if you drink Coke. I wish that I didn't drink Diet Coke. I really did. I really wish I could stop, but it's addictive. It's artificial flavoring, HEK 239. HEK 239. So that is what it is, and it's in more and more and more of our food. Yeah, I mean, I really would like to know exactly what's in the food I'm eating, because I'm thinking that they're probably putting in things that we have no idea. It's bad enough the things that we do know are in there. But if you saw on a package HEK 239, would you automatically think, oh, there's aborted babies in there? No. So what else are they hiding? So, all right, let's go on because we can. And this from True Reporting. It says I'm not following them, but I am now following them. And they say, no, this wasn't Photoshopped. This was taken yesterday, Memorial Day. What are the odds? And it's a beautiful bald eagle sitting on a grave of a soldier. And it is a beautiful picture. Beautiful picture. All right. Now, let's go on. Plenty more where that came from. Let's look at this. Oh, this is not what I thought. Okay, Reverend Graham Reverend Franklin Graham, that would be Billy Graham's son, calls special day of prayer for Trump. No president has been attacked as he has. So that is not what I thought it was. There was something else I was trying to get to here, but not sure. Not sure. All right. Well, that wasn't it, but that's good. We should all be praying for President Trump because I think his life is in danger every single day he's in office. And I think that there's probably been more attempts on his life than we will ever really know about. So let's go back here and see what else we can get into. Because we can. Now, this is interesting. Because why would I bring you something that isn't? Listen to this. First, let me turn the there we go. It says, just wow, the former, hang on here. Just wow, former Iranian MP, not going to try to mangle his name, says that Obama administration gave us, meaning Iran, 1.7 billion with 400 million in cash in suitcases. He says Trump has a good reason to end the Iran deal because Obama gave us interest on top of it from US taxpayer money. Now let's hear what he has to say here.
شما همزمان که برجام توی توسط تیم محترم دولت داشت دنبال میشد.
Now, I don't know if you guys can see this because it's let me make it bigger for you, okay? Hang on. Control. Here we go. Because I know some of you guys are on your phone and you won't be able to see the. All right. Let me go back.
شما همزمان که برجام توی توسط تیم محترم دولت داشت دنبال میشد، ما سر قضیه 400 میلیون دلار پرونده بی یک خودمون مربوط به زمان شاه با آمریکایی‌ها مذاکره کردیم دیگه. ما 400 میلیون دلارمون رو که آمریکایی‌ها نداده بودن رو اومدیم باب مذاکره چی شد؟ جاسوسای آمریکایی شدن. جیسون رضاییان شد. ما 4 تا جاسوس رو آزاد کردیم. 7 نفر از زندان‌های در واقع خدمت شما از کنم آمریکا فیلمبردارها آزاد شدن. 7 نفر هم قرار شد سر سال آزاد شدن. 14 نفر هم از بلک لیست درآمدن شدن 28 نفر. 4 بود 28. بعد ما گفتیم کمه. واقعا هم کم بود. گفتن چی می‌خواید؟ گفتیم اون 400,000 در واقع 400 میلیون دلارمون رو شما باید با سود معقول به ما بدید 1 میلیارد.
So they released the Iranians released some hostages and in return America freed some prisoners of theirs and they said you know America said what do you want in return and they said we want this 400 million from that was taken from the time of the Shahs, and ultimately we received 1.7 billion in 4 parts, he says. They brought us the first part, 400 million, in a suitcase. We said that it was still not enough, and they asked what more we wanted. We said that Bank SEPA I missed that. We said that Bank SEPA and Bank SEPA International should be removed from the blacklist. The UN Security Council was about to end its session, so the Americans had all of the delegates sign the papers for us, one after another. The issue that Trump often slammed Obama for and said he gave Iran money, it was about this, 1.7 billion, when we were under the pressure. Sorry, I want to get this because it's important. When we were under the pressure of the sanctions, they gave us cash money. So, yeah, there you've got someone that's Iranian saying the same thing that Trump's been saying. Very interesting indeed, if you ask me, which you didn't, but if you did, that's what I'd say. Now let me get that back to a normal. All right, let's go back. Let's look at this by Wyatt. and he is responding to the White House. And the White House says, after arriving in Tokyo, President Donald Trump spoke with Japanese business leaders at the U.S. ambassador to Japan's residence. And Wyatt responds and said, someone I know that now lives in Japan says they really love Trump over there. Apparently very fair to him on the news, even when he's not visiting, like being in the twilight zone, since our news in America hates Trump and openly displays their hatred for him and his supporters. Oh, do they ever? And it gets pretty tiring if you ask me. It really does. Now, this is good news. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it is good news. Mumbai, 141 rescued in raid at Grant Road brothel. We're seeing these reports all over the world. These people are being, women and men, children, being rescued from being trafficked, being pimped out, all over the world. We're seeing this. And I never remember this stuff in the news. Once in a while you'd see it, but not like this. Not like this. It's everywhere. There are children, adults, women, young men being rescued all over the world, and it's all over the news. So yeah, 141, that's a lot. As per police reports, the cops during the intervening night of Friday and Saturday raided Simplex Building Hotel in Grant Road East, and a total of 19 pimps along with 65 customers were arrested, along with the 141 rescued. After taking a serious cognizance and series of action against dance bars in the city, the Mumbai police, in its another significant step, this is probably being translated, and that's probably why the English is a little bit cumbersome. In another significant step against Operation Brothel in South Mumbai, have rescued 141 girls and have arrested the brothel keepers. As per police reports, the cops during the intervening night of Friday and Saturday raided Simplex Building Hotel in Grant Road East, and a total of 19 pimps along with 65 customers were arrested. According to the police, the said building had previously been in limelight for allowing activities like prostitution and had been raided by the police before. After getting a tip-off, our team, headed by the Zonal Deputy Commissioner of Police, raided the building and rescued several women and minors. The raid started at around 2:50 a.m. in the morning, and 2:50 in the morning, and continued until 6:30 p.m. Pimps, customers, brothel owners, brothel keepers, and others accused have been arrested, and also we have seized a significant amount of cash from the spot, said a senior police officer, requesting anonymity. So this is good news. All the accused have been booked under relevant section of the Indian Penal Code and the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act. Wonderful news from India. Now, let's go back and see what else. Now, again, this is from Wyatt. The story so far. Obama conducting clandestine foreign policy. Kerry conducting clandestine state visits. Podesta in New Zealand before the shooting. Mishel, Michael Obama in France watching the church burn, and now Brennan is attempting to command the actual intelligence services to revolt. And he did. He did. I don't have the video of that. I should have clipped it and brought it to you, and if I can find it, I will. But he has directed the intelligence community to turn and revolt against Trump. Imagine a duly elected president, and he wants them to revolt. Well, they can revolt if they wish, but they're not going to get away with it. They won't. All right, now this says important here. Just trying to get rid of some of these things so that I know that I've covered it. This says important, so I would imagine that it's important, and I would imagine that you need to see it. So here it is. Kellyanne demolishes Speaker Pelosi. She treats me as she might treat her maid or her pilots or makeup artists or her wardrobe consultants. I told her, gee, it's so pro-woman of you. Now, listen to what Kellyanne has to say here.
What was the exchange between you and the speaker in the meeting that blew up, and how did she respond?
I treated her the way I treat you. I started out saying, respectfully, Madam Speaker, would you like to address the specific points the president raised? That was it. And she did what she does all the time, which is said, I talk to the president, not to staff, because after all, she thinks we're all staff. I believe she's the sixth or so richest member of Congress and behaves that way.
Sixth
she treats me as
richest member of Congress.
Makeup artist or her
Congress.
Wardrobe consultants. I told her, gee, it's so pro-woman of you. My whole point was the president spoke for 3 minutes and was very specific about why he was turning around and walking out very calmly. She didn't address any of that. She did what she often does, which was get off topic, way off message, and she started talking about Thomas Jefferson and Teddy Roosevelt, might be here a while, and what they had done on the infrastructure. So everybody let her finish. No idea what that was about. Let her finish. And then I filled the air just saying, respectfully, Madam Speaker, which is the way I started out. I was showed great respect because I always do. I was raised by a woman, not a wolf, so I show everybody respect, even when they don't show me respect. And that's all she had to say, and then she stormed out. But I will tell you, there were Democrats with her who looked like they wanted to stay. I think some of those public work Democrats would have liked to have stayed and at least had a conversation with Secretary Mnuchin or Director Kudlow or any of us, just to say, Chuck Schumer had his 35-page plan. Leave it on the desk. Email it. I can send someone over to. I'll go get it myself right now if he actually has a 35-page plan that he wants us to see. Why is it a secret? Is he covering it up? Is it in a lockbox?
Yeah. Now this is how it says her response proves the point. Now let's listen to Pelosi, and it's disgusting. Her response to me is disgusting. I wonder if she treats her constituents this way. Really. I mean, she thinks she's above and that she doesn't have to even speak to the peasants because she's the sixth richest woman in Congress. Don't you know?
Kellyanne Conway made a remark at the end of the meeting. She's apparently expanded on her remarks.
I'm not going to talk about that. I responded as the Speaker of the House to the President of the United States. Other conversations people want to have among themselves is up to them. You have to follow the facts to get the truth to the American people, with a recognition, too, that no one is above the law, and 3, that the president is engaged in a cover-up. And that is what my statement is. How we deal with it is a decision that our caucus makes, and our caucus is very much saying whatever we do, we need to be ready when we do it. And I do think that impeachment is a very divisive place to go in our country. And what we can get the facts to the American people through our investigation, it may take us to a place that is unavoidable in terms of impeachment, or not. But we're not at that place.
She is unbelievable. She's just like, doesn't have to talk to it. I'm the Speaker of the House. I only speak to the president. All these other plebes, they can have conversations among themselves. We pay her salary. I don't know, but I think that she just lies and lies and lies and thinks that there are people believing her when really she has lost all credibility. I don't know of anyone who takes the woman seriously anymore. Really. Especially knowing what her bar tab is on her flights back and forth to California to Washington. Her bar tab was like $1,000 a week. How do you drink $1,000 a week? Really? I mean, even if you have some staff with you and whatever, that's a lot of booze. A lot. All right. Let's go back. No, really. Let's. All right. Now, this is something that is really upsetting. I found it upsetting. I think you will as well. I want to take this little boy and I want to keep him safe and take him home with me, but he's probably so entrenched in hate at this point in his life. I don't know. Very sad. Let's take a look at this. Now, before we get to this, let me tell you what is happening. These are IDF soldiers, okay, Israeli Defense Force here. Now, this guy is a Palestinian, and he's got his son. He holds his son up and says, shoot him. So, and here it says, evil really does exist in the world. A father sends his toddler to IDF soldier with his Palestinian flag. Shoot him, father taunts soldiers. Should I bring my daughter? Tell boy, and then he tells the boy to throw stones at them. Now, and it says posted by Arabs who are proud of this. I don't know how you could be proud of this behavior, but apparently they are. So let's go back here and let's listen to what's happening. He's saying, shoot him, and he's telling his little boy, who's probably terrified of his father because his father was probably raised with hate as well, go over there. And he's sending this little boy to these soldiers that have guns, and he's telling the soldier, shoot him. Don't be afraid. Go over there. Let them shoot you. Let them kill you. Raise the flag. Let them shoot you. Raise it. Raise it. Raise the flag so they will shoot it. Now, this IDF soldier holds out his hand to the little boy and gives him a high five. I mean, the soldiers do not kill him, so I would not play that if they did. I wouldn't, because that would be very, very upsetting to all of us, I believe. So the soldier does point his gun at him, which I think was inappropriate, but then he takes it away. And the father is saying, shoot him. You know how to do these things. So here's the soldier pointing the gun at the little boy, and the father saying, shoot him. You are good at killing little children. Should I also bring my little girl? Now the soldier's trying to talk to the little boy. Nobody's gonna hurt him. Pick out a rock, throw a rock at him. Don't be afraid, throw it. He's saying that to his little boy. And the little boy's obeying because he's probably terrified of his father. And he's probably also terrified of the soldiers because he's been taught to fear them. And so what does he do? He picks up a rock. And you can tell he's just half-heartedly throwing it. He's not really trying to hit anybody or hurt anybody. He's just trying to appease his father. Now, this is horrific. It really is, because the soldiers, they're obviously trying to taunt them to kill this little boy so they can get it on camera. That's exactly what they're doing. But what father would do that to their little boy, who is so cute? I just want to take him home. I mean, this poor little boy. It's horrific. It's absolutely horrific. And of course, the soldiers aren't going to kill him because they know they're being taunted. They know that, the father is sending him there, and he's saying, "Let them shoot you. Let them shoot you." I don't get it. I do not get it at all. All right, let's go back. And I wanted to show you this. This is the reaction in a UK bar after the resignation of Theresa May. It may surprise you, the reaction. Now let me scroll down here and okay.
So I understand announcing that I will resign.
Sorry, I'm going to turn that down. I didn't realize it was that loud.
So I am today announcing that I will resign as leader of the Conservative and Unionist Party on Friday the 7th of June.
Now, that's pretty wild, isn't it? That's how people reacted. They were just absolutely elating. They were throwing their drinks everywhere. Yeah. Didn't like Theresa May. And remember, just wanted to remind you that way back, several months now, remember Q said, goodbye, Theresa. Yep. So we knew it was coming. Well, those of us that have been following Q, which I assume all of you have, or you probably wouldn't be listening to this. So let's go back and see what else I have for you. This video might be a little bit longer. I was going to split it into two, and then I decided, well, you guys may be off this weekend and I can just do one long video. So, and I will be back tomorrow as well. Now, I may not have a lot of listeners tomorrow because many of you may be off doing different things because you're off work, but I will post a video and then you can catch up with it when you can. All right. Breaking. Lizzie is behind a liquor store holding a rally in Oskaloosa, Iowa. Yeah, you just can't make these things up. There she is, Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, holding a rally of, what, maybe 20 people behind a liquor store in Iowa. I'm not thinking she's got too good a chance. Do you? Don't think so. No. Can't make this stuff up, people. People, you just can't. Cannot. All right, now I think we are just about done, but I did want to bring you this as well. This legislation proposed in the Canadian province of Ontario would criminalize public displays by Christians deemed hateful to Muslims, the LGBT community, and others. Canada moves to ban Christians from demonstrating in public under new anti-hate proposal. Yeah, well, Trudeau hates. He hates Christians. He actually said that they represent the very worst of Canadian society. Well, thank you very much. That's why I want to get out of here. Yeah. Anyway, so there you go. And interestingly enough, last, let me see, when was it? Oh gosh. Well, it was Easter. And we always have a parade. Well, not a parade, really. We walk as, like the churches in the whole surrounding area walk, and they carry the cross. And they walk downtown in the little community, and they walk the streets and so forth. And they don't bother anyone. They're just walking and showing respect for what the Lord suffered. And anyway, this is the first year they have always provided a police escort to keep everyone safe on the road. Well, this year they said, no, not only will we not provide a police escort, but this year you must walk on the sidewalks. Well, can you imagine that many people trying to walk on a sidewalk carrying a cross? Yeah, not too pretty. And they did provide police. They provided police to make sure we stayed on the sidewalk. So things are changing rapidly here anyway, and in other countries around the world. So just wanted you to be aware of that. It was a little bit alarming to me because I did grow up in Canada, but I spent most of my adult life in the States and wish to return there as soon as possible. And so I've never seen anything like that before. There's always been a respect for our Christian heritage here, but no longer at all. So there you go. That is it for tonight. I'm going to be back tomorrow, and I may, if I have enough time and enough material, do 2 videos. I really didn't have enough material to cover 2 videos tonight, so I just did one long one instead of breaking it into 2. But perhaps tomorrow will be a different scenario. We don't know. It depends on what's in the news. So anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate you guys, all your kind comments and your encouragement to one another. I love that you pray for one another, that you encourage one another. You are so polite and really the most wonderful people I have ever seen on Facebook. Maybe there's other groups that are this nice. I don't know, but I haven't seen them. So I appreciate you guys, and thank you to my Patreon supporters and those that throw a coffee to me every now and then. I appreciate that. It does help keep me going and helps me keep doing what I do. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate all of you. Whether or not you contribute has no bearing on that. So I appreciate all of you. You have a wonderful night tonight and a wonderful day tomorrow, and I will talk to you real soon. Thanks, guys. Keep seeking truth. Deception bites.